Hi everybody and welcome to Stamp of Approval. This is my card using the brand new collection called Candy Cane Lane, and it's absolutely adorable. Today we're going to be working on some really cute Christmas motifs, and I'm going to begin with our Candy Cane Lane stamp set by Catherine Pooler Designs. So what we're going to do first is I have cut a piece down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. It's just slightly smaller than the front of an A2 card. And what we're going to do is measure down from the top surface our 4 1/8, because that's the same width. Basically, I want to know where the triangular aspect of my card is. Right there. I'm then going to take my pencil and I'm just going to draw a really faint line from corner to pencil mark, and the same on the other side. And what it's going to help me do is not only it's going to help me center things, but it's also going to help me keep everything kind of going the same direction. So that's where we're started. Now, the one thing that you do want to remember is that when you stamp over pencil, the pencil stays wherever the ink is. So if you're going to position a stamp over top of, make sure you erase your pencil line first. Okay, so we're going to use some of our absolutely freaking adorable candy canes here. And I think one of my favorites is the plaid one. It's adorable. All right. Now, I'm going to cross my fingers and hope the heck that I can pull this off without using my Misty. We'll see. So, we're going to grab my good old white eraser. Make sure you kind of do it off to the side first before you go and put it on your paper. Sometimes you have ink that sits on there and you don't want to get that on your project. Okay, so like I said, you can use your stamp positioner, but I'm going to cross my fingers, and hope this works. Now, I'm going to bring in some non-traditional holiday colors here, because who says that the holidays can't be purple and teal colored, right? Alright, so I'm going to start with my Hot Mama here. I'm just going to remove this to make it easier. Making sure that I ink up my stamp really well. And I'm just going to turn it using the guidelines on my work surface here. So we're straight up and down. I'm going to do it a little bit from the center. Not quite in the center per se, but using that guideline. Pressing down, getting good contact. Ink to paper. Alright. Oh my god, so cute. So I think I'll speed up the process. I'm going to do 3 more using my guidelines, and then we'll start again with another. So I have our 4 candy canes to begin with. And let's see, I think we'll do something in between in our V sections there. And maybe we'll actually go and do a sprig of holly and berries. So let's see. Kind of want to make sure I have enough room here. Do something like that. Now we could also bring in something different too. We could bring in something small like stars, that kind of thing. Even the little birds would be kind of cute. You could even do our presents would be really adorable. should I do? Maybe I'll do those and go from there. Okay, we'll do our berries first. And even though I said we'll do untraditional, I still can't not have red berries. So we'll pull in our Memento Ladybug. Hopefully I can get enough ink without having to re-ink these. There's one, and I'll fast forward through the other. Super cute. Okay, let's put on our holly leaf. And this time I'm going to go back to my original thought on color here, and I'm going to go with my scuba color, which is a kind of a really nice teal color. Let's see if we can get some good coverage on this. Oops. There's one, and I'll finish off the rest. Oh my god, how cute is that? And it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, this one's a little closer than obviously that one, but that's okay. It's a hammy card. And let's see, we need some more color in here. You know what? I'm almost tempted to go back with the holly leaf and do a little rocking and rolling with some scuba and some jelly bean. I think that's what we'll do. So it's a nice light green. Definitely gonna pull in my stamp scrubber here. So I'm going to stamp with my into my jelly bean, and then I'm going to just rock and roll the edges or partial leaf into my scuba. I just love the way it comes out, and I'm going to literally stamp and hold so that we get good ink transfer. There, something completely different. It ties in, but it's green, and it's super cool. Okay, I'll finish them off. Oh my god, how cute is that? Now, I just wanted to show you this. Because we did a little rocking and rolling, my ink pad is a little bit stained with the green, but that's no biggie. So what you do is you pull in like those scrap pieces of paper. I have lots from doing screwed up prints, so I keep those handy in my scrap room. And you can also take a piece of paper towel and just lightly wipe the surface until you can no longer see that ink. Give it a couple of good presses and you're good to go. You have a clean ink pad again. So I don't think it's quite finished. I think it needs a bow. Now, the nice thing about the collection this time is we actually have 3 different bows to choose from. We have a large kind of on its side bow, which I think is adorable. There's a little bit smaller one, which is fabulous, especially for those smaller candy canes. But there's also a bow in our hip holiday stamp set too, and it's one that's kind of shown on the front. But I really like this one. And I think what we'll do, I think we'll bring in my original wisteria. It's a little bit darker than our Hot Mama purple there. And we're just going to stamp right over top. we're not even gonna mask, we're not gonna die cut anything, we're gonna make this like super duper easy. All right. So I'm just going to test this one because I haven't used this stamp set yet, or this particular stamp. Just give it a couple of goes. I find it works better if you test it and use it first. The other thing too is I like to get a really good ink impression. Take your white eraser, go across it, make sure you give it a good wipe down first to condition your stamps. Pressing nice and hard and even. Yeah, much better impression. All right, let's hope I can get this to be just dark enough. You know what? It is not going to work. It's going to be too transparent. So you know what? Sadly, I'm going to go and die cut 4 of these. We're going to stamp them out and put those right directly on our candy canes. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back and I have cut 4 of the large bows out of some 110-pound weight cardstock by Recollections, which is the same as my card base there. Keep this and I'll show you why. So you're going to take this, and I tend to use something with a 90-degree angle in it. You can actually attempt to line things up this way and by peeling your stamp off. Actually, let's get rid of the ink here. But there's an easier way. So just to get the gist of it, enough room, we're going to place down our stamp like that. We're going to pick it up in the lid of our Missy. And even just to test out the color, I'm just going to stamp it with our Wisteria, that darker purple. We're going to stamp your image onto the pad of paper on the base. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your die cut piece and you're going to find the nicely center, evenly white spaced area and make it all nice and pretty within that gap. Then take your magnets, or even a piece of tape will work, and to hold down your paper. Then you're going to take one of your die cuts and you're going to place it inside, and it holds it in place so that every time you add ink to your image, like this, and press and stamp, it's going to come out beautifully centered. And if you have areas that didn't get enough ink, this is the beauty of the Misty. This one is the mini Misty. You can go ahead and restamp it. You can restamp it on each individual little bow. I mean, there you go. It's perfect. Perfectly centered, perfectly inked. All ready to go for that cute little candy cane card. So we'll finish this up and then we'll put it together. So then I glued down our cute little purple bows, and now let's put a sentiment on the bottom. We're going to use the Sweetest Holiday Wishes greeting from the Candy Cane Lane stamp set. And I'm going to use my mini Misty again just because I want to make sure that I could get some great inking going on here. And I think once again we will pull in the Wisteria, that dark purple, to tie in our bows. And once again, this is probably not going to stamp fully the first time, so let's go in again, inking up our stamp really well. There we go. And you know what? I don't think it's quite finished yet either. So I'm going to go back, set this aside, it needs some dainty stuff in here. You know what? I really love this itty bitty teeny tiny triplicate of berries or snowflakes or whatever you kind of want to make it. And I love just adding the tiniest little touch of details. And I'm almost tempted to either pull in the teal or the green again. Really like the teal. So let's go back to our scuba here. And let me show you what this little teeny tiny stamp looks like. Bring in my scrap. It's just cute little itty bitty dotty waddies. Oh, love it. Okay. And I think we're going to go in and pull the same color, maybe up and around our candy canes. So I'm just rotating my card, keeping my stamp kind of positioned at the same angle here. And let's go one more time. I'm going to rotate those spotty dotties. Love them. We'll go with the kind of the top of the candy cane here. Just needed like a little touch of something. Oh, I adore that. That just totally kind of brings everything together. Yeah, absolutely. So I think the reasoning behind tying in that card color again is because you've repeated color. I mean, I do have a couple of purples, purple and purple and purple, and then teal and teal and teal. So it just helps everything come together. So totally super cute. Let's go and finish off the back. All right, so I'm thinking about how do I want to finish off this on the back, because there is a little bit of room around my card. Now, I love the peppermint stick background stamp. Oh my god, drool. So I want to incorporate that in my card. So I actually shaved 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch off both sides of just the long side of both sides of my card. So it's still somewhat centered. It's pretty close. And we're going to incorporate some small strips of that particular background down the sides. So again, I'm going to tie the colors that I've used in my card back to the background. So I have a piece of cardstock that's a little bit longer because you never know. And it's about 1¼ by 5½ inches, so it's a little bit longer. And we're going to actually cut it into 2 pieces to put on either side. Let's set our card aside. I've brought in my regular sized Misty and our lovely, amazing background stamp. And this stamp, just so you know, has a border around it where it doesn't stamp. So just be aware. I'm going to shove that in the corner. I have taken my foam out of my Misty. So because this is a rubber cling stamp, it needs that extra room. And I mean, you don't have to put it in the Misty, but because I want really nice, good coverage of ink, I want that capability. So we're actually going to stamp this right onto our paper background here. And I think what we'll do is we'll bring in our Hot Mama ink. And we'll use that for our background. So because I only want a fairly narrow strip, I'm just going to ink like the far side of my stamp here. You'll have to excuse my squeaky Misty. I'm not sure if yours is squeaky, but mine is squeaky. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to generously add my Hot Mama ink, which is that kind of lighter shade of purple. This also gets my stamp ready to stamp on the paper that I'm actually going to use. So just giving good even pressure. Now I know where specifically to put this piece of paper because it gives me those boundaries. So I'm actually, because you can't hold it down with the magnets, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive just with my ATG. And I'm going to line that up, just making sure that that particular cardstock, see there's a little bit of stamp color at the bottom and the top. Okay, so let's go back and ink up that edge. If I really want to go back in and get a deeper color, which I don't because I want it to match the candy canes, I could go back and re-ink that stamp and once again stamp it again, and I would get even more even inking coverage. But you know what? I kind of like the fact that it doesn't ink perfectly all the time, because it gives you a piece of paper that's a little bit more rustic. Everything doesn't have to be colored solidly, right? So I got a nice texture from the ink pad on the rubber stamp, and it came out beautifully. So you know what? I'm okay with that. So we're gonna cut this into two. Actually, trick, take your finger, and I'm gonna get rid of the adhesive off the back, because otherwise it's just gonna make things a heck of a lot harder. Let's find generically the center. Doesn't have to be perfect because most of it's not going to be seen anyway. And yeah, see, they're not even, but that doesn't matter. Okay. So let's bring in a card base. I think I'm going to use a colored card base, but this will help for visual here. My card is taller than it is wide as far as even boundaries. So this is where our tiny stripe of our peppermint stick is going to come in. And we can make it as thick or as thin as we want. And I'm just going to trim off the excess at the top. And I'm going to call this card done. Thanks for joining me. I hope I've inspired you to make a similar motif. Get out that pencil and ruler. Give it a try. See you later, guys.